It's returned, only not to the section it was before. It's in the section adjacent to it was missing until today. What's it say? Starting with page 106. In The Rise of Fiduciary Capitalism, business economists James P. Hawley and Andrew T. Williams of St. Mary's College of California describe this new reality as the third stage of American capitalism. The first stage of personal capitalism unfolded more than 100 years ago when titans like Carnegie, Ford, and Rockefeller owned and operated the emerging industrial giants intimately. That era of personal owners was eclipsed by managerial capitalism early in the 20th century as control passed to the professionalized management systems. The newly powerful managers still had to answer to finance, but they consigned the broad ranks of shareholders to the weak position they still occupy. Under fiduciary capitalism, ownership is reconcentrated again, only now it resides in the faceless and ostensibly neutral bureaucracies known as institutional investors. But who owns these bureaucrats, and whose interests do they really serve? The gorilla treads lightly because its position is fraught with explosive questions. The financial system is astride a paradox that unsettles conventional thinking on all sides. During the last generation, the rich got richer and still more influential, as critics, myself included, regularly pointed out. Yet at the same time, the countervailing trend of wealth accumulating in the fiduciary institutions steadily shifted the center of gravity in an opposite direction, toward collectivized wealth. This shift potentially, only potentially, gives ordinary citizens a source of leverage they have never before possessed in the history of American capitalism or democracy. This leverage does not arise from the familiar contours of class conflict, but from the unique qualities of pension funds. They are, by nature, collective organizations required to act in behalf of the many millions, not for narrow commercial interest. As wealth holders, they must necessarily take the long-term view of economic life. The law, at least, tells them to do so. In fact, as fiduciaries, they are supposed to act only in the long-term interest of their future retirees. So the pivotal arguments for this new era will be about how those long-term interests are defined and defended. ... There's several more pages in here. Imperious, not imperial, by the way. Several more pages in this section. I read this section. It was exactly what I've been saying the last several years, up to and including the failure of the federal government, starting with Congress and the President of the United States in the 1980s, to adequately address factors related to their so-called military pension reform and what has been allowed to happen in the last 36 plus going on 37 years. We're coming up on the second year of a 5-year term for which there was no understanding, projection, or accounting for revenue to finance the final 5 years of a 40-year deal. They've known it the whole time. It also talks about the relationship of annuities to pension funds. Do you know that? Does anybody know what happened to my research of several appropriations bills, including how they correlated to changes to military annuities regarding the percentage available if you were identified with a disability? What is a fucking annuity? 2007 was the year the state of Texas passed that bill about the 25% reduction when it came to financing and payment for facilities, and how that impacted per child funding of children who were members of the military, children of parents who were members of the military. 2017 was 10 years later. Everybody knew the entire time. There is a hierarchy of burden here.